Hey guys, welcome to the Libero Network. My name is Robin Baker, and today we're going to be talking about being honest with your doctors, with a medical professional that is not part of your recovery team and it's not part of your treatment team for your eating disorder. So, being honest with these group of people, which usually include like your general practitioner, a physician, even a physician assistant, can be extremely scary. Mainly because we know that these groups of doctors do not have the training nor the experience of working with someone that has an eating disorder or that's in recovery from an eating disorder. And many times, when we're honest with this group of people, we open ourselves up to be triggered, to feel ashamed, to feel stigmatized. And that can be really scary because I get scared about being hurt, and I'm sure you do. And it's very scary to be honest with these group of people. So although it can be very scary to open up to these medical professionals, it's very important to do so. Many times when we do visit our general practitioner or physician, we're seeing them because we have some type of physical discomfort, we're sick, something doesn't feel right, and they're usually our first step before we can get a referral to a specialist. And this really depends on your insurance, but for many of us, we see them first. So if we're not honest with these group of people, we can either be, told, oh, it's all in your head, this isn't really anything that's not that big of a deal. But if we're honest with them about our eating disorder and say, hey, I'm feeling this way and I had an eating disorder, or I'm feeling this way and I'm struggling with an eating disorder, that might make it just enough of a bigger need that they will refer you to someone, or they might take you a little bit more seriously. And depending on where you are in your recovery process from your eating disorder, your first step might be to visit a general practitioner when you finally get the courage and have hit rock bottom and you feel the need that you have to get help for your eating disorder. So I know my first step when I was struggling with an eating disorder back in high school, my mother took me to my general practitioner, and he, looked me over and saw everything and just said, she's just a little underweight. It's not a big deal. And, I wasn't at the point in my life where I couldn't vocalize, well, I'm extremely scared of getting fat, or, I don't eat that much all day, or all I do is try to figure out what the skinny girls are eating so I can look like them. I didn't voice any of this to my doctor because, first of all, I was in the room with my mom. Second of all, I had no idea how to even vocalize that. I was so far into my eating disorder. So many times, if we do not say all of our symptoms, not just physically, but also psychologically to this doctor, there's many times they will dismiss you and say, it's all in your head, it's not a big deal, your weight's just a little funky. And unfortunately, the medical world is very slow to realize that eating disorders don't have to look a certain way or fit a certain textbook definition in order to be considered a full-fledged eating disorder. So what does happen if we do open up, we are honest, and say something that, we do have an eating disorder, or maybe we don't say anything and our general practitioner or the physician or physician assistant says something that is triggering to us, that makes our mind spin, that makes us go to that place like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that to me. I've had that happen to me many, many times. And unfortunately, I have really never had the courage to speak up and say, hey, that wasn't okay for you to say to me. What I've done instead, and you can use this if this feels good to you, is I try to remain calm. I practice being non-reactive to their statement because many times the statement is made out of ignorance. And then I place that statement or that experience aside. I go home, I process it, I call a friend, I share it with my therapist, and then I either call the doctor up myself or I write a letter. most of the times I write a letter. The powers of email, right? So I will write an email to them, and then I decide, do I want to send this or not? This is all completely in my power, and I'm choosing how to be as proactive and productive and positive with this experience as I possibly can. So dealing with being triggered or having something very negative said to you is an opportunity for you to really work through this process of using your voice in a productive way. Another reason it is so important to be honest with your medical team or with someone that's not on your eating disorder recovery team or treatment team is that you are helping these doctors, you are educating them, you are telling them the symptoms that are associated with your eating disorders, and they might not have any idea that these are related. We all know how common eating disorders are. And there's a high probability that your doctor will someday in the future be working with someone that is struggling with an eating disorder or someone that's in recovery and has a similar symptom or similar medical problem. And by you speaking up and saying, I'm feeling this way and I've also had an eating disorder, maybe they're connected, or maybe there's something to do with my past eating disorder. You're helping to pave the way for these future patients so that they don't have to go through the same struggle or the same negativity or the same triggering moment that you went through. So it's not just for selfish reasons to speak up and feel empowered. You're also paving the way for future patients. So just to recap, being honest with a medical professional that is outside of your eating disorder treatment team or your recovery team is very important, not only for you and to empower your voice and to get the right care that you need, but it's also important to pave the way for future patients that might have an eating disorder and that might interact with that same doctor. So I hope this was very helpful for you, and I will catch you next time. Bye.